In 2005, I met the dragon for the first time, and it changed my life completely. I saw the other sides. I saw actually much more than I should have seen. I understand this very much after 17 years being on the dragon's path, that the dragon tells secrets that isn't actually allowed to know, because sometimes the things that they know, they are very ancient, they are very wise. The wisdom of the dragon has no boundaries. Whatever the dragon has seen is a lot. Whenever the dragon has saying things to you, of course, and whenever the dragon takes you along to experience some of these things might haunt you and stay with you forever. And I had a lot of these things that I cannot explain to this human world, things that are cruel, things that are dark, things that I don't even want to start. I have a lot of secrets of the dragon that I don't share even, because I feel that I shouldn't do this. But by saying this, I want you to understand that sometimes I had even moments that I was afraid to close my eyes even for what the dragon has shown me next. The dragon wants to show me a lot of things and wants to show you a lot of things as well. Because that is why it's sometimes, whenever you are saying, I want to be on the dragon's path, what do I need to do? Well, actually, nothing. Nothing at all. Let everything come to you. This is just your experience. I never asked to be on the dragon's path. It just happened. It came by itself. Not that I wanted this, but I accepted this. Acceptance of who you are. Acceptance of what is by your side. Acceptance of what is inside of you. The connection that you have with your dragon. Everyone has this, a connection with a spirit. Well, in our case, this is the spirit of the dragon. Not really the spirit like a ghost or something like this, but a spirit, because the dragon can be here by an energy. The dragon can be here by energy, and so being your guardian, completing your dragon circle. With saying this, I want to say this with this. I talk a lot about the void and this tunnel, you can say, before you can go to the dragon's gate. A lot of gates are surrounded by the void. The void is a place, the space between spaces, where Leviathan rules. Leviathan is the dragon god of water as well, but also of the gates, of being the protector and being the guardian, and being a god as well. Creator, destroyer, everything. Leviathan, there's a high chance that he is also by your side, because he's a watcher and he's a judge. But the void, I've seen a lot of things about the void. The reason why I became, for example, a vegan is because and everyone says, oh, you don't like meat. I love meat. I love it very much. I even ate it raw. But in my visions, I saw a lot of dark things that I made me very emotional, and things that as well change you forever. That is also what the void does. The void changes you forever. The void is not a punishment, but the void is a place where the dragon sometimes can take you to show you the way of the darkness and your own darkness as well. Because dragons are dark and light, and in this darkness that they want to show you, you have to know yourself also in your darkest form, and the darkest demonic things, the energies that you have to accept and be one with. In 2019, no, 2000, yeah, 19 it was, yes, of course, 2019, my grandmother died, passed away. And the day before she died, this connection with the void, what this can do with you. Before she died, I was afraid in her place, not because she died or something like this. Was she going to die? Everyone has to die. But before she died, of course, also a connection with my grandmother. And I could feel I was afraid in her place, because she was entering this void, not to go out anywhere, because she was so afraid, so fighting. And I could feel this, that she was confused. And out of this confusion, you stay inside of the void. I can tell or ask Leviathan everything, but in the end, he does what he wants. He does what is right, and she These feelings were very hard because I know I'm going to lose her, never see her again. But to lose her inside of the void. And to be very honest, this is also what I fear one day, that my parents will do the same thing. Nature is cruel, nature is dark, and the dragon wants to show us this. Not because they want it, but because this is the system, this is what it is. And that is also the reason why I cannot stand any violence anymore. I cannot stand blood, I cannot stand violence, I cannot stand death anymore because of what I've seen in the past 17 years. I sometimes say stop, but the dragon continues. The dragon wants to teach us a lot of things. And to this day as well. And so my grandmother eventually died, and it was gone. The fear was gone with her. And I know where she was. Whenever I was in the church, I was burning. My necklace, I had a feeling that I didn't have to go inside of the church, but it was like a wall going inside of it. But I wanted to show a last respect to my grandmother because she was Catholic, so I had no choice. But it felt wrong to go inside. It's like, and I was burning up. My entire body was red. And then when this priest was saying she's now with God, I was actually shaking my head. I was closing my eyes, shaking my head. Of what kind of a lie is that? You don't even know that. What kind of an experience do you have to talk about that? That she's with God? Maybe you can say she's with Leviathan, yes. That is indeed a God, but it's not the God you speak of. You are just saying things, not knowing what you are saying. And this while I was burning up completely. I was just so red everywhere that I had to go outside and take a breath. Not because I was so emotional, but because I was physically hurt by my necklace. My necklace started everywhere, and then everything. Whenever there was a coffee table after it, and I put my vest off, everyone was saying, "What happened to you?" I said, "Yeah, I burned in that church," and everyone was looking at me like I was some kind of a demon that was not allowed in the church. But that was what I felt. It was heavy, like it was 1,000 kilos that was on my shoulders, and it all disappeared once I exited the church. And then someone from the family came to me, and she was actually saying, "Could you feel her body? Could you feel her spirit going out of her body? Do you feel it? How she entered heaven?" And I was actually scratching my leg, like actually, she's in the darkest pits of hell. You might say that the void is something like this, but not because she deserved it or something like this. The bestest man can go inside of the void if you lose your way. And that is what I could feel. That is why I couldn't sleep. That is why I couldn't even close my eyes, because I could feel her going inside of that void. And I said no. And from that day, I was so afraid that one day I would feel this with the people I'm closer with, like my parents, like someone else that I love so much, that I'm going to lose there, and I cannot do this. And that is why sometimes ignorant is bliss. I understand this phrase so much better now, that ignorant is bliss. And that is sometimes, how do I enter the path? How do I begin my path? It happens. It happens by itself. It goes on by itself. For example, how do I enter the path? Make an altar like this, for example. Make it with your own instincts, with your creativity. Make it how you want it, how you see the dragon. I see the dragon, for example, as being one with nature. And so I put nature on it. Now, I was looking at it and said, oh, it could use much more nature. So yeah, I put a little bit of nature to it because the dragon is nature. So that was actually a mistake of myself. So yeah, how she entered heaven, she said. And I had to say, she knew that was spiritual, but not what kind of spirituality. Much more realism, much more not like what you want is going to happen. No, not heaven and hell. This is not how it works. And that is what the dragon tells us. Many things that we actually shouldn't know. And yet the dragon is saying this because the dragon trusts you not to abuse anything like this. The dragon can tell you so many things that sometimes our mind cannot even handle, how deep it goes. I fear death every single day, and I fear it for the people that I love because of what is going to happen. There is such a light chance that you can find your home inside of that big endless void. And so I'm also afraid not to find the Dragon's Gate. I found it once, and I'm trying to keep the dragon so close so that the dragon can show the way. I'm actually holding them very tight, that I truly love the dragon. I truly love the dragon, and that is also how you should do your path, how you truly love your dragon and truly trust your dragon. That is what my grandmother didn't. She was lost, and that is what I fear for my dad. That is what I fear for everyone, actually. That some things are better not to be known, but the dragon trusts you with all of this information, even though your mind cannot handle it. All of the darkness. That is also why I cannot stand all of this violence. I love to have a little bit of love in this world while we are here. This compassion, this peace. That we can have our heaven here. That we can have our little paradise here in the forests, whatever you want. That you be with the dragon here in this world. I cannot stand anything like violence anymore, because there is so much violence on the other sides, and sometimes we cannot handle it. We just see what sometimes through the eyes of the dragon, and whatever we are seeing, a dragon's mind can handle it, but a human mind is difficult. And that is why the dragon's path can be very difficult, so much difficult. It's not a game, it's not a role play game, it is not for fun. This is what you are, and the dragon's path, it is something to accept. It is not a choice, it is an acceptance.